Hi everyone, it's Slayer Hulfin here, back for PBL Season 3, Round 1 of the playoffs. So we're going up against Kyle and the Jacksonville Jolteons. He, for a while, was our only loss. He was our first loss, and for a while was our only loss until we lost the final game of the season. Um, and the final game of the season, we lost to Prof, who we beat week 1, whereas Kyle, we only played once during the entire season. So Kyle's actually the only person we've played that we have not beat this season. So um, really looking forward to this match. I was looking forward to this match. Try to get a little bit of revenge. Try to kind of make up for my first loss this season. Now he has the Charizard you see on the left of the screen is Mega Charizard X, and along with Mega Charizard X, he drafted Tapu Fini and Celesteela. And last time I brought Raikou thinking, wow, Raikou just has a great matchup against this team. He can break through the defensive core and really put in a lot of work. And I brought this Raikou set, and neither of them showed up. And he said afterwards that he knew that Raikou just put in a lot of work against those two, so he decided to not bring either of them. And so this time when I was preparing, I wasn't really sure what to do, if he's going to bring those two or not, because they're really good Pokemon, but he didn't bring them last time. And I wasn't sure, like, kind of with the mind games, if he'd expect me to expect him not to bring them and I wouldn't bring my Raikou, or, what was kind of like what the right call was there. But I brought Raikou because really, if he brings those Pokemon, they're so threatening that I really need to have an answer to them. But he made a great call, again, not bringing them. So when I look at Raikou now against his team, Steelix is immune to Electric Stab, Rotom Quad resists, Amoonguss resists, Mega Charizard X resists, so, and then Heracross and Espeon are neutral. So Raikou really not a good bring. Really good move on his part to again decide to not go with two of his better walls or defensive Pokemon. So really quickly, I'll go through the team. Mega Blastoise has Rapid Spin to try to get rid of some hazards for us. Water, Pulse, Dragon Pulse, and Ice Beam. Dragon Pulse is for Mega Charizard X. We do live a hit and can kill him back as long as he's not too boosted up. Ice Beam is to try to catch Rotom on a switch or to knock out Amoonguss if it has some prior damage on it. Raikou is Calm Mind, Volt Switch, T-Bolt, and Aura Sphere. Having Calm Mind and Volt Switch might seem a little bit weird, but the idea was to get momentum early with Raikou and then set up Calm Minds on something like a Celesteela or Tapu Fini at the end. And we're leftovers on it. Jirachi's Choice Scarf, Iron Head, Heart Stamp, U-Turn, and Healing Wish. So Jirachi's kind of just, I don't know, if he didn't bring Tapu Fini or Celesteela, specifically Celesteela, I guess, because Iron Head's pretty good against Tapu Fini. And then if we can weaken Steelix, which it doesn't really have reliable recovery besides rest and leftovers, I guess, or maybe like a Super Berry, then Jirachi can put in a lot of work against this team. And it looks really good here. Healing Wish is also so we can wish something up like Blastoise in the end game, or Swellow maybe, to put in work. It's also for like maybe Raikou, but Raikou, like I said, doesn't look like it's going to do a lot. Crocodile is kind of more of a defensive set with Stealth Rock, Earthquake Knockoff, and Superpower, which is for the Mamoswine, but he didn't bring that. And we have Rocky Helmet. Swellow has Firium Z with Heat Wave, Boom Burst, U-Turn, and Sub. U-Turn's for just trying to get a little bit of momentum going out into something else. Sub is for, just a different way to pick up some momentum, I guess. Sub lets us, because we do have the Firium Z, we can set up a sub as something like a Steelix comes in, fire off a Heat Wave, make sure we pop an Aqua Berry that he might have, and then go for the Z to guarantee the OHKO. Boom Burst into Firium Z does kill Steelix unless he's Assault Vest, I think. So even if he's max HP, max speed, if it kills him, the only thing would be an Assault Vest or an Aqua Berry, so you can scout out for that. And then Magmortar. The Magmortar set is kind of interesting. Flame Charge, Flamethrower, Bulldoze, and then the last move is Belch, which requires you to have eaten a berry in battle beforehand, and then you can use it as much as you want. So we have the Ipapa Berry, which means if we get below a quarter of our health, then it gives us 50% back, and then we can belch. The belch was meant for Tapu Fini, but it actually also does is our best move against Charizard. When I looked at his team, he's got Steelix, Rotom, Amoonguss, and Heracross. So he's got 4 Pokemon weak to Fire Stab. Espeon, it's neutral against. Charizard is his only resist. It's a quad resist, but we got the Bulldoze to make sure Charizard can't set up on us, and then Belch does like over 50%. So Magmortar actually looks really good in this match. But I'm going to go ahead, jump into it. I decided to lead Crocodile because Charizard is just a huge threat to my team. It applies so much offensive pressure, and I really don't. Crocodile's not actually a great switch into it, so I wanted to make sure that if he leads Charizard, then that I'm not just like on the back foot immediately. And instead he leads Heracross, and I'm on the back foot immediately. We get off the Intimidate though. The Intimidate's going to help something take a hit, and I'm looking at my team, and I don't really have the best close combat switch-ins, but Jirachi can take a hit, so, and we can then just Heart Stamp him back and outspeed him because we're scarfed. He goes for a sub and reveals he's Guts, so that's fine. We can Heart Stamp, break his sub, and then Heart Stamp, we should be able to kill him, or it might have been a roll, but even if it's a roll, we got a 60% chance to flinch, so, and he's being worn down by burn, so go for the Heart Stamp, break a sub, as he goes for Earthquake and crits and kills us. So crit definitely mattered. I think it's been like 50 to 60% somewhere in there without the crit. So that's a really unfortunate way to start off the battle for us because Scarf Jirachi I thought put in a lot of work. Heracross though, good bring on his part. And that sub on turn 1 was really just killer because I didn't have the best switch-ins, and the Jirachi play I thought was relatively safe, but ended up costing us one of our more useful mons on turn 2, which is not a good way to start out the match. So I'm going to go ahead and go into Swallow here. It looks like he's probably forced to switch. That's what it seems like to me. He doesn't really want to sack that thing off for nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and go for a sub here, just kind of scout out what he wants to do. As he goes into Amoonguss, we just fire off a Boom Burst, kind of gauge the damage. He looks like he's max HP, max Spadef, as he goes for Clear Smog and breaks our sub, which was a little bit surprising to me, but it shouldn't have been because Swallow's really weak. So now what we're going to do, he shows the leftovers, so we have a pretty good idea of what his set is. Not necessarily the moves, but his investments. So we're just going to go for a U-turn here. Just to get a little bit of extra chip damage. Also, if you wanted to make any weird switches, then we'd punish him for that. And go out to Magmortar, because Magmortar is our Amoonguss check. It has Vital Spirit, so we can't be put asleep, and Giga Drain isn't like good against us. So he goes for Clear Smog, does a little bit of damage, as this just looks like a pretty free Flame Charge right now. So go for the Flame Charge. He goes into Onyx, and calculating that damage, that looks like he's max HP, max defense, and we see the leftovers. So I'm now free to go for a Flamethrower and kill this thing. So that's big. Means that Raikou can Volt Switch around at will. Not that that's really good anyhow, I guess, but it also, I guess, I don't know, that seems big, but with Jirachi being dead and Raikou not being very good, it actually doesn't matter a whole lot. Or like, I know, it doesn't really free up anyone else on the team. A lot of the Pokemon on my team could actually deal pretty well with Steelix. Crocodile could Earthquake it. We had Fire and Z on Swallow. I guess it frees Swallow up a bit to just click Boom Burst, but Amoonguss is still a problem. But anyway, he goes out to Charizard. Now, Magmortar, looking at his team, Heracross, Amoonguss, Rotom, Mo. I still put in a lot of work against those Pokemon. So what I want to do is just go ahead and go out to Crocodile, get off this Intimidate. I know he's forced to go for the Dragon Stab move because he can't go for Flare Blitz against Magmortar. We did have a chance, it was a roll to live a Dragon Claw, but Outrage killed. Decided it's smarter just to save Magmortar for later. So we go in, get the Intimidate off, as he just goes straight for the Dragon Claw. Takes some damage from a Rocky Helmet. And so that's really good information. We do have a chance, a pretty good chance, to live a Dragon Claw with Magmortar if we can put ourselves in that situation again where he goes Charizard, as long as we don't take any more damage. And so I thought about this play here for a while. Earthquake is really obvious, and so his switch into Rotom Mow is really obvious. I really wanted to go for a knockoff because at this point, Steelix is dead, Charizard can't have an item, Heracross revealed his item, and so did Amoonguss, and Kyle almost always brings a Scarfer, and so I'm looking at Espeon and Rotom thinking Rotom's probably the Scarfer. He really likes Scarf Rotom, thinking if I click knockoff here, get the Scarf off Rotom, that really puts Swellow in a good position for later in the game. And it puts Magmortar in a good position because one Flame Charge is probably enough to outspeed his, or one Flame Charge is enough to outspeed his entire team then. But there is a chance that he goes into something like Heracross here, in which case knockoff isn't a great play, or I guess he could stay in, that'd be kind of a weird play. But I decide that getting rocks up is going to be best here because if Charizard comes in on rocks, then Belch can kill. So that's kind of that's what I was thinking about here, and in the end I decided that rocks is kind of the good mid-ground play, or just kind of worked, unless he went for a Dragon Dance, I guess. As he does go into Rotom, I'm going to go into Raikou just because Raikou, like I said, doesn't really have a great matchup in this game. He goes for a Leaf Storm, drops his attack, and it looks, or Spatak, and it looks like he is scarfed from that damage. It looks like that guess of Scarf is probably right. I really did need to keep Crocodile around because if this thing is scarfed, then Crocodile prevents him from just Volt Switching on my face the entire match. So it looks like he could be scarfed. I'm going to go ahead and go for a Volt Switch here just to try to get some momentum. If he isn't scarfed or if he switches, it is a roll to live his next Leaf Storm. But I can Volt Switch, and if he isn't scarfed, I can go out to Swellow and take the next Leaf Storm and kind of do some stuff there. So he goes for a Leaf Storm. It does kill me. He is scarfed. So that lets us go out into Magmortar because at this point he's really weakened. I don't think he's going to want to stay in. And we're just going to go for a Flame Charge. As we go for the Flame Charge, and now what we're going to do is Crocodile isn't really a good play. This is kind of the situation where Charizard is just kind of free to come in on this thing every single time, and at some point we're going to need to probably risk the roll of Dragon Claw on us, and if we keep on trying to like play around it, eventually we might take a little bit of damage, and that will put the roll into like guaranteed he knocks me out. So I kind of need to take the risk here, I think. Just go for the Bulldoze, let him pop the berry so we can kill him. So I go for the Bulldoze, lower his speed. So he goes for Roost, so that's fine. We're just going to go for another Bulldoze, put him in range where Belch will knock him out. He's going to go for the Dragon Claw here, and whew, we live. So that roll, we were at 84%. The max he could do is 86. I think it's like 70 to 86. So that roll was in our favor, and we do get it, but definitely a little bit of luck there. But now, in his mind, he doesn't really have a lot to fear, I don't think. But he hasn't seen the heat. Sorry, I had to go back so you could see the full animation. But he hasn't seen the heat that Magmortar brings to the team, which is Belch. And we killed that Mega Charizard X with Belch. PokeAim's jawline goes a little bit crazy in the chat. So we get to show off that heat. He goes out to Espeon though, and this match is far from over. Rotom Mow still puts in a lot of work against my team. If you look at what I have left, Electric is stopped by Crocodile, and Leaf Storm is stopped by Magmortar, and not really Swellow because Swellow's really weak. So he's just like one or two crucial mons going down away from Rotom, putting in a lot of work and just sweeping through my team. And Espeon and Heracross even. Espeon, is, if he's max speed, actually outspeeds my Swellow. I am modest this week. So that's not good for us. So Espeon outspeeds my entire team unless I can get a speed boost up with Magmortar. And Heracross outspeeds, I think, everything except for Swellow. So we're actually in a really tough position still. Killing that Charizard was obviously good for us, but we really are kind of on the back foot in this match. Um, and so here, I want to get my Mega Blastoise in to take a hit from this thing. But Psychic move is really obvious right now. And I want to bring my Blastoise in on a Dazzling Gleam or something that's not Stab if I can. So I go ahead and make a little bit of a play going out to Crocodile to take the Psychic. And then I'm going to go ahead and go out into my Blastoise. Blastoise looks like it can take a hit from this thing and then do enough damage so that Magmortar can knock it out next time, except he goes for the Shattered Psyche. And at this point, I'm really not in a good position because Magmortar doesn't outspeed and he has a chance to knock me out and I can't knock him out unless I go for like a Flame Charge Flamethrower, I guess, but then that just puts me in a spot where Rotom comes and kills me because Rotom's Volt Switch is like just shy of knocking me, or T-Bolt is just shy of knocking me out right now, but any extra damage and Rotom can kill me. And Crocodile takes the Dazzling Gleam, well, it doesn't take the Dazzling Gleam. Crocodile dies to Dazzling Gleam and he outspeeds. So I have to go into Swallow, and he probably outspeeds me if he's running speed, which I assume he would. But he doesn't know that. So we have to kind of make a ballsy play here and go for the U-turn, hoping he switches out, as he does. So he goes into a Moongus, we get the U-turn out into Magmortar, and with Magmortar here, I can Flame Charge up, see what he wants to do, and then once Espeon comes in and takes rocks damage, it's a roll for me to knock him out with Flamethrower, so he might be in an okay spot. So we Flame Charge, as he's going to make a really smart play and go for Clear Smog, just not let me get my boosts, because if I get 2 boosts, then I outspeed his Rotom, which obviously isn't very good for him, and he has a chance to lose. So we just go ahead and keep on going for these Flame Charges because we need the speed boost for whatever comes in after we kill this thing. So finally a third Flame Charge takes him out. We get our speed boost. We're down to the point though where this Rotom can come out and kill us with an Electric Stab. So he's going to go ahead and go out to Rotom, and he misses a Leaf Storm, and we kill him with Flamethrower. So that is huge for us. That Rotom was really just a problem with its speed and its double stab, and I'm not sure. I think that we probably just lost. I'm actually going to check the calc right now because I want to double check and make sure I don't speak out of turn. Yeah, okay, so Leaf Storm was doing 29% minimum to us, and we're at 19% it looks like right here. So that miss definitely was really big. The Leaf Storm, we would have been forced to go into Swallow and really make some plays, and probably it would have required him to choke. So yeah, I think that probably it doesn't win us the game because Espeon still, it's a roll to like kill Espeon and stuff like that, but it puts us in a position where we don't automatically lose, if that makes sense. So Rotom dies, he goes Espeon. Now Espeon is still an issue because I've kind of made some plays to try to put myself in a good position, but as it stands right now, Flamethrower, I'm checking the calc to make sure I get it right. Flamethrower does 71%, so I guess, I thought originally when I was playing this game there's a roll to knock him out, but apparently it wasn't even a roll to knock him out, so he guaranteed lives. So what I realized I have to do here, because I think his Espeon is probably max speed, is, I think I actually calced it and it looked like he was timid based on the damage he did to Blastoise. So I think he looks like he's timid, which means he outspeeds my Swallow. So what I have to do here is go for the Bulldoze. I'm really lucky I have that on this set because, I mean, it definitely did serve a purpose for Charizard X, but this is not how I imagined I'd use it. So we go for the Bulldoze, lower speed, and we go out to Swallow. Now we do outspeed, but if he kind of suspects that we might have lower speed than him, he could switch out to Heracross here, sack it, and then come in and clean with Espeon. So I'm going to go for the sub here just to see if he wants to switch. As he goes for a Psychic, I suspect that he probably doesn't think that that he outspeeds me, just because why would you not bring a Swellow to outspeed an Espeon? Good question. So I go ahead and go for the Boom Burst here. He does stay in, which is good for us because that means that Heracross comes in, and we can just show off our Z move and pick up this final kill on Heracross. And we are going to win 2-0 against Kyle and the Jacksonville Jolteons. Really crazy game. Fair amount of hacks. Obviously, we had the Jirachi die really early on, but the Leaf Storm was really big. That basically gave us a chance in the end to stay in the game. Without that, I think we lost for sure. And me just kind of making a few plays with Swellow that ended up working out was really big. So definitely a definitely kind of a crazy way to start the our playoff run. We are able to kind of avenge our first loss of the season, and move on to the semifinals, where we will be playing Android and the London Lucarios, who, if you will remember, we beat in the regular season thanks to a healthy dose of hacks. So he'll probably be looking for a little bit of revenge against us, but this game was crazy. If I go back, I usually don't spend a lot of time reflecting on these games, but since it's playoffs and because it's Kyle and kind of he was my first loss, and then this game was so close, and whatever, I'm going to reflect. Losing Jirachi was really big. It made this matchup really tough, because it just meant that he had so many things that outsped me, and with Raikou not being very good, and with that meant that unless Magmortar had a boost, which even if he had a boost, he didn't outspeed the Scarf Rotom, so he's outsped by Rotom still. Swellow and Jirachi had a lot of weight put on their shoulders, and Swellow didn't outspeed the Espeon, so really the only thing that outsped his Espeon and his Rotom on the team was Jirachi, and it went down turn 2. So that just meant we were really in trouble from kind of a speed tier situation, and our team wasn't the most bulky anyhow. So when Jirachi went down, that was really big. That was really like threatening, or not threatening. That was like just a huge loss for us, and we had to have a lot of things go right and go our way, from the Magmortar living the role on Charizard to be able to pop our berry and belch and kill it, to getting the play right with Swellow to U-turn on the Amoonguss so that you could get Magmortar back in, to the Leaf Storm miss, to like having Bulldoze on Magmortar so that Swellow could outspeed. There's just so many things that had to go our way to kind of pull back from that early loss of Jirachi. And I think that if you play this game 10 times, I would lose 9, but we ended up making it work and got some rolls and definitely got a little bit of luck there at the end, and we're able to pull through. So anyway, thanks for watching. I don't want to just kind of ramble on again and again and again and kind of cover territory that I've already covered, but this is a crazy game, and I guess that kind of works because our first game was really crazy too. Good game to Kyle. He made playoffs for the first time this season. He had a really good season, really good team, really picked up some big wins late in the season. His final game of the season, he played against Lolly, and whoever won got a playoff spot. So he clinched his playoff spot right at the end of the season, and came and really put a good foot forward in this match and really had a strong showing. And if just any one of, what did I name, like 4 different things, let's see, the Charizard roll, the Rotom miss, the Amoonguss switch, Bulldoze, yeah. So like, there's so many things that if any one of those things went differently, then he would have won this match and would be advancing. So, good game to him and really good season from him, and I'm looking forward to playing him in the next season. But anyway, this is probably already my longest video, so I'm just gonna end it here. But we will be back to, or I'll be back to see you for the next round of playoffs. Thanks for watching. Bye.